Here we are, bottom of the Smash Mountain. I would like to thank all my patron supporters over at BSM Pod slash wait patreon.com slash BSM Pod for continuing to support me in what I'm doing. All the senior producers, big shout outs to my mom and dad. We also have Ventus Official and we have PK Smokey with Eternal Project. Thank you for all of your support. And I would also like to give big shout outs to Super Quack for helping to make this happen, who has been on the program before. Me and Super Quack talked several months ago now, but aside from talking to him, I also got to interview MK Leo a little while back. So I am super pleased to once again have another representation from Mexico Smash. We have Far with us tonight here. Far, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for the invite. I was looking for this, looking forward for this.
How often do I get to talk to someone who has I looked this up on PG Stats, a 75% win record. Sorry, that's me tripping over letters. It's all good. So I'm really excited to get into this. But firstly, to clarify to people who are joining the program for the first time, I will be not specifically trying to put this in the vein of stats and talking about the game specifically. I love hearing about people's stories. So Far, you've been around Melee for a hot minute, so I'm interested to hear about your origin story. How did you get into Melee?
I think I have an amazing story. I don't think I heard anything like that. So first in Mexico, we used to have these video game magazines called Club Nintendo. It was amazing. Like, I mean, I was talking back in the day when the internet wasn't available as now. So like that's where you will find out about cool stuff or glitches or exploits in video games, right? So I mean, when I was in kindergarten, I played Smash 64 a lot. I
Oh,
remember,
let's go.
yeah, I remember skipping class. My mom would let me, yeah, my mom would let me stay at home and play Smash, and so I've been playing video games my whole life. That's how I learned English. Cause back in the day, there was like they didn't translate the games. It was all English, and I really like RPGs like Pokemon, Mario RPG, Zelda games. So, and I wanted to know what's up with the game. So I learned English through that, and then I kind of perfection it or like improve it by attending stuff in America with melee tournaments and such. Anyway, so there's this they make like this in this magazine. They make like an article about melee and com- not as much as competitive scene. Like they will even bring up the argument of like if using the stick for smashes was like a noob thing to do. So like I was like, I use it, I don't care, I use it. So but then they mention about wave dash. They mention wave dash. That's like
Woo!
the technique back in the day. Like, I mean, if someone knew about wave dash, oh, you know how to play.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's that's all we cared about. Like, oh, you know how to wave dash. That's it. Anyway, but they didn't go in depth with any of the techniques, so they just mentioned it, and I was back. I mean, I was that was like 2005, something like that. I cannot really remember the year, but I knew there was stuff like advanced stuff in the game, right? One day I come across this, you know, usually people get beat up by someone way good, and then they learn about the techniques, right? Uh, in my case, I come from a really small town in Mexico, so even for Mexico standards, it's a really small town. So
mm.
no one was good, honestly, and so there was no one to come to my town to like destroy me and tell like, oh, I use these techniques. So I didn't came across the how to play advanced that tutorial that everyone knows.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't came across that. I found this like weirdly weird web page. It was a Flash animator who also like Melee and the F Zero game for the GameCube. I think it was F Zero GX. I'm not sure which one it is, but he had advanced techniques for both Melee and F Zero. That was okay, and that's how I learned about Wave Dash, L Cancel, Shuffle. That's how they used to call it back in the day.
Yeah,
So
yes.
it's not really a thing anymore, right? So I learned about shine properties, but I was still a casual, right? I didn't really know about tournaments and stuff. I learned about the wave dash, and I was like, back in the day, I was a chic main. I was still a Sheik main because I mean I was using all the characters, and my older brother found out that Sheik was broken. As in like dash attack fair and forward tilt fair. I was like, I want to play that too. It was Sheik Dinos all day. So like I learned about the techniques, and I was like, I found that Luigi's wave dash, and I was like, this has to be the most broken character in the whole game. Look at that wave dash.
Look at how far that guy goes.
It has to be the best character. But I mean, it was not until I came across, and I told him when I met him the first time, the K-Masters combo video, the Greenish Machine 2.
Wow.
That's why I was like, oh, this game is amazing. I want to do all of that. Also, and like maybe it was because I mean, just start looking on the like recommended videos, and I came across the Dark Reigns combo video, the Captain Falcon, that
Oh
pioneered it.
yeah, Dark Rain. Yeah, Dark Rains has had great combo videos back in the day.
Uh, and that's when I cannot believe what I'm seeing. Like, look at that Falcon. They don't even touch the ground, and he kills him. That's when I want to learn all of this. Even then, I didn't know about tournament scenes. I assumed there was people playing with their friends. And I was like, I want to learn about this, but I had no idea about the meta game, tier list, any of that. It didn't cross my mind to like I should find out about that, but nah, I just play with my homies. So I was a casual player by all extension of the word. I was a casual player, but I mean, I will be way shiny, and my friends are like ledge dashing. But it didn't even have like iframes or galleons. Like it was a really bad ledge dash, but hey, I was ledge dashing.
Yes.
So I was out canceling, wave dashing, all of that, but I was playing with my friends just like that. So yeah, I was playing. I was a Sheik main and Luigi secondary. I like Luigi for spaces because I mean it has to be the best fucking character in the game. Look at the way that I can move around doing down smash. That was a broken thing for like wave dash that you could use a smash attack while moving.
Yeah.
That's to me that was all the implication of wave dashing. So like he has to be the best character.
And none of your friends can keep up with you when you do that, right? Like it's working against all of them.
Yeah, I mean, even before all of that stuff, I was beating them solidly, and I would try to teach them, but the tech skill was too intense for them. So they were more of like the mind games, right? Yeah.
I'm
So
gonna start charging a smash attack 10 feet away from you. What are you gonna do
yeah,
about that? And you go, well, I'm just gonna wait for you to throw it out, and then I'll wave dash in and down smash you with Luigi.
that, absolutely. I mean, I could do all kind of thing with my friends. I would just like stomp in place with Falcon, and they couldn't take it because they will spam the L, and they will get you can only win because you do that. They will get so mad. Well, anyway, so my first tournament was in a how to call it, a tourist popular city. It's called Rocky Point, but
Hmm.
that's like the tourist name. The original name is Peñasco, Puerto Peñasco. So they made this tournament. It was a doubles tournament. Some items were on, like not all of them, because
Whoa.
some of them were broken. And even then I
Whoa.
was like, even then, me and my homies when we were try harding, it was 1v1 FD and no items. You know the drill, right? So we go to this tournament, and at the point we found out about the top players without that were the good ones at the time, right? I mean, what year did Brawl came in? Is this like 2006?
Brawl came out in 2008 in the US. I think it came out
2008.
in early or late 2007 in Japan, maybe. I can't remember all the dates, but it was March of 2008 in the US.
All right, 2008. So that tournament was 2008, maybe a little bit earlier, or maybe Brawl was already out. I can't remember, but I didn't know who the top players were because I didn't knew how to properly look up for that information. So I still thought that Ken was the best, like Car and DJ, Azel. I mean, Azen, yeah, the Marpley.
Oh,
So
yes.
yeah, I thought we were going to meet some kind of people like that in the tournament. We're gonna get destroyed. Like I was ready to go 0-2, right? 0-2, and I would love it. But then we went to the tournament and everyone sucked. Everyone sucked so much. I was like, I cannot believe I won this tournament. it was me and my cousin, and we were like 13 years old, something like that. We were ready to get destroyed, and not everyone sucked. I couldn't believe it. Everyone sucked. I was like, why no one's wave dashing? Why no one is L canceling? They're so slow. Like, so I mean, yeah. Then I started finding out about the tournament scene, like my local scene, that I had to travel 3 hours away to go there.
That's not
But I mean,
local.
that was my locals, because well, that's
Woo.
we're too soon for that. Anyway, so we won the tournament. Like, we didn't even get money. We got like a shitty medal and and a diploma and a coffee cup. That's all we got. And we were going to appear in local TV. I was like, yo, we're going to be on TV, and but we had to stay one day there, and my mom was like, because it was out of town for us. It was like a 2 hour drive. My parents took us, and I was like, nah, you have school tomorrow. Like, oh no, I was going to be on TV. Well, I mean, we won that, and we really didn't. I mean, we will just play, right? And then Brawl came, and oh my god, I was so excited for Brawl. I remember like watching like the Smash Dojo website every day.
Every day.
I was every day like,
This guy.
damn, like Meta Knight. I mean, I really like Meta Knight from Kirby games, right? I was
Yes.
Meta
So
Knight,
cool.
and then Wolf, Snake, all of those characters. Like, this is going to be the best game ever. Like, period.
Yes.
And then it came out. I went shopping with my parents. We usually went to Arizona, like near the border, and I had the chance to play it maybe at a GameStop or something like that. I don't remember. And I played them like, the first thing I tried to do was a way dash.
Oh.
I
Oh.
I I picked chick. I picked chick, and I tried to do way dash, and then I did that thing that when you shut up and air dash, and like,
Yes.
what's that? Why it didn't work out? And I kept playing. I was like, I mean, this game is amazing, but I don't know why I don't like it that much. But I don't know why, right? At the moment, I didn't know why I didn't like it that much. It felt like I cannot hit them as hard.
Mm.
It's kind of slow. Like, floaty was not a term for me at the moment. So like, but I mean, I guess I'm wrong. All of my friends like it, so maybe I'm in the wrong. Yeah, it's a good game. And so, yeah, we start playing. Um, we kept playing, bro. The first main I picked up was Meta Knight, and
Oh, yes. Great
it,
choice.
it was like, this feels like melee in a way. It's so fast. Anyway, so at the time, um, we kept playing, and they made a local tournament in my town. Like, now, Brawl was big. Like, a lot of people play Brawl back in the day, even in my small town, right? And some people out of town came to this tournament, and those people knew about the momentum cancel and all the advanced techniques Brawl had, because he had a lot of broken stuff. They knew about that,
Yep.
and and I remember it was close because I had good fundamentals, but that's all I had, right? I was
Gotta hit
like,
him with those fundies.
exactly. It carried me long enough to like put up a fight, but I couldn't win, and I was so salty because I was the best in my town, and someone out of town just comes and beats me. Like, it doesn't it can be this way. And I remember when this guy, I played like fourth, something like that. And I remember when the guy won, they played like on some speakers, like, the sweet sweet victory, yeah. And I was like, I should be there. I should be there. And I was like, this is not staying like this. And me and my homies, we grinded so much because they was, oh, we're gonna make another one in like 3 months. And I was like, all right. The first thing I did coming home, like, I will search on YouTube Super Smash Bros. Brawl Advanced Techniques, Mewtwo King gameplay, Mewtwo King versus Snake. I started like laughing all of the stuff I could, and what long story short, the tournament came and I already knew how to do all of that stuff, and then we start playing melee again because the people who made the tournament play Brawl, but they also like melee. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I was like, hey, I remember this game. But beforehand, when I was playing with my friends, we came across this Brawl game, this Brawl mod called Brawl Menace.
They had so many mods of Brawl that I've never heard of. Brawl Menace, I've never heard of that.
You
I've
never heard
always
about that? Like the philosophy behind the developer or like the modder was that break everything and everyone until it's balanced. Everyone was broken. Everyone's insanely broken. Like Ganondorf neutral B shot like a sphere that did 66 damage and then it kills instantly. Everyone had like ice climbers like neutral B ended up they will like scale like they will end up being like FD size. Like it was so broken, but it was so fun. The thing with that game is that Captain Falcon pretty much has his melee moveset. That was his broke thing. What's his broke about Falcon? His melee Falcon. And I was like, yo, I can do the thing that Darkran did in his combo video. Because melee was too hard for me to do all of that stuff. The thing is, I start hitting all of the like the upper knee, and in Brawl Menace, I was like, yo, I'm sick. I'm so good at this game. When we when we when we came back to melee, I started playing Falcon. A lot of stuff I did in Brawl Menace kind of translated to melee. So I pick up all of the stuff fairly quickly when I came back to melee. So they made the next tournament. They had melee singles and brawl singles and doubles, and I won all of it. I won all of it. I won melee singles, brawl singles, and brawl doubles.
So let's go.
Like I made some money. I remember my mom was like, "How did you make that much money playing video games?" Like I don't know. It's new to me. So even then, all of the tournament organizers and all of those people, we're still friends. Like we see each other all the time, so we kept playing. But we kind of dropped Brawl. Like we dropped Brawl and we just play melee. And that's when I found out there's some really good people in the capital city. I lived in Caborca, Sonora. Sonora is the state, and the capital city was 3 hours away on a bus ride called Hermosillo. And the guy that came and beat us in Brawl, he was from Hermosillo and was like, "There's really good players in melee in Hermosillo. Like they're insanely good." And that's when like the major. It's a really common thing in Mexico, all over the country. Like back in the day, the major tournaments were anime conventions.
Mm.
So like there was a big anime convention that had Smash tournaments, and that was a major. That's what everything was going for. So I went to that one. What year it was? I started competing in 2011. That's when I start learning about the tournament scene and the meta game. I grinded the game, right? Because beforehand I knew about the best techniques, but it was still a casual, right? So like I went to this tournament and people were insane. Like there was this guy multi shining. I was like, what the
Ooh, yeah.
I saw that on YouTube. I don't know how to do it. Some people moonwalking and like I just can't do it with Falcon. I didn't know you could do it with some other characters. And damn the game it was insane. But well, beforehand, I always skip stuff. It's been a long time. I was watching like tournament scene, right? I was a Falcon and Sheik secondary, and I was at the moment the best Falcon main was Hacks, right? And he wasn't winning anything. Like he was getting destroyed by the gods, but badly, right? He was getting destroyed by Mango, by Hungrybox, Mewtwo King, PP, and who am I missing?
Armada, yeah.
Armada, yeah, Armada. And I was like, I need to change. If the best Falcon in the world cannot make it, I have no chance. And I was staying with Sheik, and then I found out. I also let him know. I came across the Happy Feet combo video Zoo, and I was like, "Fuck, Falco's insane. I need to play that character." And I started grinding that hell out of Falco a lot. Like when I got my first pillar, I remember the pop off when I could
Oh,
make my
let's
first pillar.
go.
So well, I was a Falco main, like period, right? I was playing Falco, and one of the guys on my of the locals, right, on my city, he picked up Mart just once. I got Falcon, and I was like, this matchup sucks. He would just up throw me and get me like, and I knew that in the Hermosillo, like the place I was going to, there was a lot of Marts. It was a really popular character back in the day. and I was like, I need something for Mart. And I would remember my secondary Sheik, and I was, I'll just play Sheik against Mart. And that's what carried me that tournament. When we went to the tournament, I placed second. I remember, and I destroy all the marks with my Sheik because there was no Sheiks there. And then that's when I really started attending tournaments, right? Whenever they made a tournament at Hermosillo, they will let me know, and me. Basically, we were three people. It was me, Morrito. I don't know if you see him in a bracket like in a TNT or something like that. He's a Fox main. And Morrito too, his cousin. It was me, Morrito uno, and Morrito dos. Like Morrito one and Morrito two. So it was only us three playing. Everyone else stopped playing or didn't really want to improve. So it was all the grind we had back home was us three. So whenever a tournament will show up, we will take a bus ride, all of three. We will go. That being said, out of most of our grinding was based on the Arike Noobs combo video. The Chilean people that they're it's an old one, but it's amazing. So we always went for the deck skill and the flashy stuff, and we will get destroyed by fun. This like they will just way dash back and forward smashing farm. We will get destroyed, but we will lose to the same people every tournament, and then on the ride back home, that 3 hour drive, we'll be like thinking like, what we did we wrong? They just do that. Why we keep losing? Our combos are sick. What's the issue? Like, and it took a long time of getting destroyed over and over to understand what neutral game was.
Overshooting aerials.
Exactly. We would just attack and attack and attack. We were fast, right? We were faster, way faster than everyone else there. But we would get destroyed. It didn't make sense at the time. And yeah, in 2014 was my first Smash Mayor. It was Smash Factor. It was the number 4, I think. And the 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 person they invited was Kirby Kase. That's the first top player I had like interacted with. He's such a nice guy. We all make a lot Kirby Kase. He was really good with us. And that being said, back then I already had a job. I worked like repairing cell phones. Besides doing college, right? And I was poor, right? I was pissed poor, and I wanted to go there, so I decided to take a bus ride. But it's like from North Mexico to South Mexico. It was it was like a 35-hour drive, something like that. I cannot believe I did. I would never even consider it again. Like, it was insanity. Like,
oh my gosh.
it was insane. But I mean, I was young. I wanted to play. I wanted to meet people, and I wouldn't do it again. Even then, I was saying this is insane. I will not do this again. But I'm in the right already. So that tournament, I placed ninth. I was one game away from top 8. I was like, damn, that was so close. And then that was like my breakthrough performance in Mexico because no one knew about me. And that was 2014. And then in 2015, that's when I started attending stuff in USA. My first tournament was in Arizona. Pretty much all the thing I went, it was Arizona because it was the closest. That tournament was amazing. It was called Smash the Target, and they had they like make a deal with the kitchen at that place that they serve the wombo combo, like the pizza and
Nice.
wombo combo. It was expensive. It was so net. It was whatever, but I mean, I had to have the wombo combo. Yeah, to me that was. I remember it was insane. There was Axe, there was Wobbles, Westballs went to that one too. I was like, I cannot believe I'm in the same place as this guy. Like, they're so good at the game. Like, and that tournament, I don't remember what I placed. It was either 9th or 13th. I did really good. I placed my seat by a lot. I remember. So I, yeah, I started attending like, after that one. That was in January 2015. Then I went to Sandstorm. Did you hear about Sandstorm, the
I
tournament?
have heard this name a couple of times before. Didn't it? Something weird happened at Sandstorm, didn't it?
Yeah, someone unplugged like the power outlet and the stream, and I don't remember if all the lights were away or just the stream.
Oh my
They were
gosh.
they were playing like losers final or something. I don't remember. But yeah, there was a lot of people there. That was to me that one was insanity when I went to the tournament because it was they had Mango, Armada, Leffen, Hungry Bucks, Mewtwo King. They had all the just not PP. That's the only god that didn't win. It was Hawks. It was STJ. There was so many top players. I was like I cannot believe I in the same building as they are. Uh, what I took a picture with Ken. I remember. That's the only guy I took a picture with. And also, I remember the first day they just had doubles, and Mango and Hawks team. And Mango got like so drunk, and he at some point he went and I was in the bathroom, and he came and threw up in like in the bathroom, like. "Oh, that's a Mango throwing up. Like you don't. I think you don't get to see it every day, so like I'll take it. Yeah, that tournament was insane. I kind of messed up a really like anticipated match. I was supposed to lose against Forward, like the Arizona Falco.
Oh, forward, you
I,
said?
Forward, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I ended up beating him. I beat him 2-0, and
Well.
that was my first like big win. I was like, damn, I'm starting to get good at the game. And the thing is, next match was PC Chris, and I was like, "Oh, I mess up things. I fuck it up. I'm sorry," because everyone was forward and PC Chris gonna play soon. I'm like, "Oh no, it's far. This guy called far. I don't know who it is." Yeah, and I actually ended up losing to PC Chris. That's in certain matches I get destroyed by some things, and I don't forget it. Like, 'cause it was like such. Well, what I mean is that I lost because he kept up throwing me in platforms and I couldn't take it. And he would get a free upper. He was playing Fox, by the way. I was playing Falco.
Yeah, yeah. No,
And
a lot of people don't know about PC Chris's Fox. I mean, if you watch a couple of sets that he had versus Mewtwo King on some of these YouTube videos, he's like playing like a modern Fox against Mewtwo King's
exactly.
Marth.
It was like, why this guy's not playing Falco? And then I asked him, though, I didn't pick Falco because you just beat forward. You're good against Falco. You would
Oh.
win. I was like, he was such a cool guy, by the way. Like, he was so chill. That's the only time I ever seen. I think he didn't attend anything. Maybe that Apex when he made this like exhibition match with Ken.
Yes.
But other than that, I think that was his last tournament, maybe. So yeah, I took the L and I was happy about it. He was such a cool guy. And yeah, that was I lost in losers. I lost in winners, and then I ended up losing to Hawks. Like maybe like three. I kind of had a run, and then I lost. I got destroyed by Hawks. I remember. I played Falco, didn't play Sheik at the time. Yeah, that was. I guess you could say that was like a semi-major or a regional. I don't know how you call it, but it was insane. And then the next one was Evo. I was so happy. It was Evo 2015, the first one I could attend. And back in the day they didn't have like Smash GG or Star GG, right?
Oh yeah, that was barely a thing in 2015. I think at Apex 2015 they were talking about, oh yeah, there's this upcoming thing for handling brackets. It's called Smash GG, but I think it was not popular until 2016 at the earliest, I want to say.
Yeah, at the time they used Challenge.
Yes, challenge. Yep.
Yeah, Challenge. Yeah, but Evo had these weird pulls. Like, you had to look it up in their webpage, something like that. I don't remember. The thing is, Evo was the first tournament I think that released pulls before the tournament, so you knew beforehand who you were playing.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it was the first tournament who did that. So I look at my pulls, and I did. The only name I recognized was NMW, the Falcon main from Norcal,
Mm.
and I was like, I'm getting destroyed by him. But if I bet him, that I keep watching, and I didn't know anyone, so at the time I thought, if I don't know them, I can beat them.
Yes.
And
Yes.
And like at some point I was beating Hungry Bucks. I was like, oh, imagine I can get to Hungry Bucks. That would be so sick. So yeah, the tournament arrives, and I start playing the bracket. It was like 2000, like 2500 entrant tournament. It was insane. I couldn't believe there was like the first round of pools was like 20-person each pool. Like it was insanity. And yeah, I made all the way to winners finals of my pool, and then I found out NMW got upset. He got upset by Alaska #1 ranked player. He was called Dragon Spook. I don't know if you heard about him.
I have not.
He I think he's known because he almost beat SFAT in Evo pools maybe that year before that. But I was like, oh my god, and he was a Mart player. I was like, I can do it against Mart. I knew the matchup. And I ended up beating him 2-1 and made it through winners. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I can make it to Hungry Bucks. And yeah, as I kept playing. I ended up facing also #1 Hawaii player at the time. It was Firefly High, a Fox player. Basically, it's winners finals and beyond. Every game was last stuck last game. Like I was so stressed, and also I didn't have neither Wi-Fi or data in my phone. I couldn't communicate with my homies or like I'm next on stream and stuff like that. So I was like, oh no, I cannot let it know how my run is, but I guess it is what it is. So I barely beat Firefly High, and then I think he was called Rula, Rula. He was a Falco player from Florida. That I think that the thing he did was taking a game of 11 in a tournament. So I knew he was good. And also it was last game, last Chuck Falco data. So I was like, and then that next game was Hungry Bucks. And I was, oh, I cannot believe I made it. Like it was an insane run. Like I think it was one game away from making top 32 winners. It was an insane run actually. And yeah, I ended up making the Hungry Bucks, and like I was so excited. Like we talked for a bit because we were waiting to play on stream. I made sure to ask. I asked like 3 different TOs. Can this one be on stream? I'm playing Hungry Bucks. Can it be on stream? It's like I wanted everyone to see, right? And I wanted exposure. And yeah, they were like, oh, yeah, it's a stream. Maybe after like 2 3 matches, something like that. All right, I'll wait. I don't mind waiting. I was like, but Hungry Bucks, he was like, let's play already. Let's play in this setup. Like, no. I want to play on stream. No, let's play. Though. No. Like, and then he wanted to be done with it, right? Because I mean, he was going to win. I was like, nah, I don't care. I don't care getting destroyed. I wanna be in stream. And I was like, I'm not playing on stream, dude. We wait. And I, whatever. He was like, and then I was like, the rumors were true. He's kind of dead, you know. But I was like, I didn't like. I don't mind, right? So we make it on stream. Back in the day, my lucky shirt was like Kool-Aid one, a purple Kool-Aid t-shirt, and then that's when I made it on stream, and all my homies were like, "Yo, Far made it all the way to Harvey." And then when I get back to the hotel, I start like the message. They were like spamming that like my messages, like "Yo, Far," like I made it on stream. I'm like, oh, I cannot believe I made that run, and I got destroyed. Right? I think the video is not on YouTube anymore. I tried to look for it, and I
I'm
think
looking for it right now and I can't find it. That's ridiculous.
yeah, it's like nah, they took it. I don't know what. It wasn't even an official channel. It wasn't even Evo related or anything. But yeah, they took it out. They took it off. And then I lose to Hungry Bucks. It was a 2-0, like 3 stock, 2 stock, something like that. And right away, to make top 32, I had to play Amsa. Yeah,
uh,
he got upset in pools by the Peach player. His stack was light. I don't remember where he was from, but I mean, I was like, I mean, the best Jigglypuff in the world and the best Yoshi in the world, two matchups I don't really play. Like, you cannot be too mad about that. But I mean, I lost to Amsa 2-0, and I remember he popped off. I remember like he was like, Yappa! Like, hey, maybe I'm worth a pop off from Amsa. I'll take it.
Well, I
And that
see
was
Amsa pop off when he loses a close match. Like, he is so invested in
yeah.
every single set he plays.
Everyone, every single set, like even if not really close, but it's a good set, like he will like he'll show emotion, right?
Such a nice player, though. Such a nice person. I've had him on the
Uh,
podcast. He's a friend of the program.
oh, that's nice. I love Amsa. I got my rematch with him at Smash 4 Tour. Like I didn't even ask him if he remembers me. It was a long time ago. But yeah, that was my breakthrough performance. Like overall, I remember like I've been used to the puns, right? Because my tag is Far because that's my nickname. My name is Fernando Far. It's like there's a little bit more of a history about that, but it's not worth talking about it. It's a dumb story. So like, I mean, I was just Far, right? And then people will be like, the first one was Blur. When he was commentating my match with Henry Boss, he was like, "Who's Far and why so far in bracket?" Like, and that was the start of it. I heard all the Far puns. Like, yeah, like I guess I should. At some point, I kind of thought about changing my tag, but like, I mean, like, I'll just rock the Far, whatever. Like, I don't mind. It's my nickname, whatever. But yeah, that was pretty much my breakthrough performance in a tournament. And like that's when I kind of was. I thought like I'll keep doing this. I think I'm good. I think I can do some more cool stuff. So I'll keep rocking this.
But you have to then go back home to Mexico where you know that you don't get as big of an opportunity to have matches with good players. You know that there's like a pressure in your head that says I have to go to the US to play against US players and those are the good players. So and I always give a lot of credit to the international players. Even if you're coming from Mexico, it doesn't matter to me whether you're coming from Japan or coming from Mexico. If you have to, or from Canada, if you have to get into the United States in order to play a US based tournament, the majors, stuff like Wave Dash and SmashCon most recently, and then we have Shine coming up in a couple of weeks. None of those are in Mexico, and Smash Factor only comes along once a year, and so you're fiending for more of this melee stuff. And so back then, after Evo 2015, and as 2016 comes along, how are you able to prioritize making practice work and looking at matches with your local players, your local homies, and then saying, well, how do I get to the next US tournament that I want to go to, like Evo 2016 or whatever? How did you make that work back then?
Well, first of all, and that's even true like nowadays. I kind of just stuck with West Coast tournaments, and to be
Mm.
honest, like just like SoCal and AC and well Las Vegas, right? I don't really go any farther away from that because it's so expensive. Like it's insanely expensive. Even even the food, the gas money, all of that's expensive. So I'll just stay in my zone, right? But well, back then, I think it's funny something you said because yeah, the good practice was in USA, right? It still is nowadays. But the improvement from just one tournament was so unreal. Like the level up, what you could say, it was insane. The first that Smash the Target tournament was a tournament that where shield drop clicked for me. I don't know what was. No one sat with me and taught me how to shield drop. The axe method that was now back in the day. But my con well, this was way before UCF, right? It was
Yes.
vanilla. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot believe we played vanilla for so long. I I I played it like a month ago, and it's I don't know. It's such a different game. I don't like to play vanilla at all. So back in the day, I had a good controller for shield drop, both sides. That was like finding a shiny Pokemon, right? It was so good. So I the shield drop clicked for me. I had a good shield dropping controller, and when I back to my locals, I start destroying everyone. They were like, "I don't know what you're doing, but you're hitting us a lot." And I didn't tell them until the tournament was over. Like I didn't win. I went I just started like fucking around and got second, right? But I was like, all right, let me show you what I was doing, and then I told him of the shield drop, And I was like, there's certain controllers that can make it, a certain controllers that don't. So honestly, I'm pretty sure I'm the guy who popularized shield dropping in Mexico. No one shield drop back in the day, and I was like, that's the kind of stuff I will take from tournaments. I will get real good, and then I will share it back at home with the idea of my homies get better, so there will be better practice for me.
That's awesome. You would just go to a U.S. tournament. You would learn something new and take it, like, slide off the eye. Nobody is
Oh,
allowed
that
to
was
get.
the game changer. That was the game changer. Yeah, slide off and also like SDA down. Uh,
Yes.
that one got to out one of our friends. That was in a tournament in 2016. It was required that he will be like dash dancing and then just holding down this but moving, so he will automatically CC, and we're like, yo, that's insane. And that's the kind of stuff we will learn in tournaments, and we will come back and share with everyone. So everyone got good, everyone was better practice, and that's what we had to do to keep up in a way, because we were still wars, right?
So then I'm curious about when you hear something new, you just roll your eyes and go, wait, another new thing that I have to learn and then tell everybody else about in Mexico? Is that.
I will get excited, right? I was like, oh, there's so much cool stuff to do. Like, damn, that's the only one that made me like I don't like this game anymore was how much CC was being used. Because
Mm.
back in the day, like I was now a chic main, and I couldn't do the cool stuff I like to do because everyone will CC and kill me. Like, I don't like this game anymore. I kept playing, right? But yeah, every new thing we found out was like, yo, there's more stuff. Let's do it. Let's apply it and see what. Let's see how it goes.
So I'm interested to hear, since I had mentioned Super Quack earlier, at what point do you meet him? Because I feel like you're not in the same town, or you might be, but nowadays. But at what point do you meet Super Quack as he's coming up?
Yeah, I met him in 2016, early 2016. I went to a Tijuana tournament, which is in Baja California. At the time, I lived in my town in Sonora. And that's when I kind of got close with the scene here in Baja California. And in 2017, I moved here. Like I finished college and I moved here looking for a job. And I've been living here since then, and being part of the community. And well, I would play Super Quack all the time. Also Samorita and all of the players from here.
And so your characters range from Sheik, of course, and then Fox, a little bit of Falco, a little bit of going down. Oh, the Luigi maybe coming up every once in a while. Although I don't know if I've seen you play Luigi, but what I'm getting at is that then you have other players who play kind of different characters as well. I know Super Quack goes back and forth between Fox and Peach, and so I'm curious if you have a character that you like playing as the least or playing against the least. So maybe you like playing as Sheik and you like playing against Sheik because you did that with your brother or your cousin all the time when you were younger, especially. But is there a character where you see, nope, don't want to play against that character, like a Puff or a Peach?
Maybe I will have to say maybe Puff. That's the character. Like, I love playing against Puff as Fox. Uh, uh, I don't think I'm better with Fox, but I have more fun playing as Fox. So sometimes I make the switch just because I enjoy the matchup. It's not necessarily the right decision, but it's like I'm having more fun. I'm not getting as tilt or angry, so like I'll just play the Fox. And the one I enjoy the most, it has to be maybe Chic Falco. Because I think that's my best matchup. But I think my best matchup is Chic Marth. But I don't think it's necessarily a fun matchup. So I will have to say Falco. That's the one I like to play the most. As Chic, yeah.
When you're playing Sheik, you like playing against Falco the most.
Yeah.
I get
I
the
will.
impression that a lot of Sheiks love playing against Falco, even if you have to deal with lasers. You just get such good follow ups once you hit him.
You know what the people say? Like, I don't know, they kind of just destroy each other. That's like the general consensus on like close matchups. Like, when you don't really know what to say, you say that. So that's what I feel about the matchup. I really like it.
So then, talk to me about playing at Baja. Then, so what's it like nowadays when you're able to get out to local tournaments or even playing online? What's it like being specifically in that area now, and have been there for a long time? It's been 5 years since you moved there
Uh,
now.
yeah, it's a long time. So at first, when I just moved here, they made like a tournament each week, every other week. I will go to everything and win everything by the landslide. The top player here it was Hillian, PX Hillian. He's a Mormon. He's insanely good. That's why I'm good at the matchup because we will play. We had play like I would say like 200 tournament sets like since I'm here.
Oh,
Uh, it was every time
yo.
it was winners final, grand final, like winners final, grand final, winners final, grand finals. So it was me, then him, like the clear number one, number two, and it's been that way for years, like a long time ago. Sometimes Mets will, because he lives like an hour away from us, he will come here and destroy all of us. But I mean, it was once, it was only when he showed up, right? But nowadays, it was this year, like in May, something like that. They made a small tournament. I went there just playing half ass, thinking I'm just gonna destroy him. And actually, that was the first time I lost both to Samorita and Super Quack. Super Quack sent me to losers, and Samorita took me out. And I'm like, damn, now we can start playing. Like that was the first time I lost to both of them in like these 5 years. But now they're both insane at the game. Like they're mostly both of them. They're the grinders of the community at the moment. So it's been, now the practice is real good. We can make an argument from being like from Mexicali, Mexicali, Baja California, being the strongest city in all Mexico. We can make that argument, but I mean, not really sure. But the level up is real in this city.
So what about Smash Factor 9? Was there no crew battles of the region between all the
Oh
regions
yeah,
of Mexico?
yeah, they were. There's been crew battles. It's like a main thing in Melee in Mexico, but we go like with the whole Baja California, which also includes Tijuana, which is basically the crew. The crew we always go. It's me, Eddie, Bembo, Pantera, and Mets, and we've been undefeated for like 5 years. Right now it's not even close at this point. So like we kind of just go take our prize money and go back. So yeah,
So talk to me about Smash Factor 9. I would imagine it's not the placing that you had was not the one you were thinking you would do going into the tournament, but this is also off of the last big tournament that I last remember seeing you at was Smash World Tour. Oh, I guess Double Down as well. Although I didn't get to watch as much Double Down, but I watched Smash World Tour and I saw some of the sets you played there, and then the Smash Tour World Tour regional where you and JCam were
oh
going
yeah.
against each other in the regional qualifier for Smash World Tour back last year. And JCam won that set at the regional, but then also at the World Finals, and then I'm getting at Smash Factor 9. This is the last tournament that I think you attended according to the stats website stuff. You've gone to other tournaments between Smash Factor and right now, I assume, but that was the last big performance that you were able to put out there. And what were your thoughts on the tournament or on your placing? Anything about Smash Factor 9?
I have a couple of things to say about Smash Factor 9. I don't know. There's a bunch of like TOs organizations in Mexico, but I don't know what happened. But ain't not like none of them were in charge of the melee side this year in Factor, which brings back to the point that I played Vanilla Melee not too long ago. It was in Smash Factor 9. Like when we arrived,
No,
when
no.
yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was having fun, right? I was like not caring at first, but I mean the first day on Friday, we went to the venue kind of early to play and all of that, and I was like, oh, let's play, and like, hey, wait a minute, I'm missing too many shield rows. What's going on? And then, dude, it's vanilla. There's no UCF, and like hmm, it might have had to be with the thing about like melee. Uh, Smash Factor was a tournament in the Panda Cup circuit, so there was there was something between that and UCF they had to work around, and I was like, that's why it took some time. But I mean, I could see like they didn't prepare beforehand. Like Mexico's all about Smash Ultimate, right? And I kind of blame them. That's we're good at that. But Melit's kind of on the side, and it showed. It served and it showed like we were on the side, and I was like, you know what? I won't take it. I don't like this. I don't like this. They're charging for this tournament as if it was an USA major, like price wise, right? And like it's not the same quality. I was like, you know what? I don't like it. But anyway, all the setups get like properly set up, and well, we start. We were behind schedule the whole tournament. Like we took so long to do it, any of that. So I was like, I mean, that's like the common thing to happen in Mexican tournaments. We always behind schedule, and it sucks, right? But I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, the first day they had this Latin American bracket where all the Americans and like well not Latin Americans were banned. So it's basically a way to make a brackets without getting destroyed by the STJ, Wistro, any of the any of the foreigners, right? And I ended up placing their place in that one. I made all the way to winners final. I lost to Eddie. I I hate losing to Eddie because maybe it's I don't know if the word is confirmation bias. There's some of those philosophy thinking, but I always think he gets so many misfires against me, like a lot.
Oh no.
Maybe it's average. I don't know, but one of those. I always say it this way: if he gets a misfire, that doesn't matter. I won't count it, right? Because sometimes you get a misfire that you don't even make it back, or it doesn't matter, right? But he gets so many important ones. Like you're dead unless you misfires. I'm like, damn. the the one that I think that's when I got a little bit tilt, at least for a couple stocks. It was 1-1 on Yoshi's story, I think. It was last stock, both of us. I was getting an edge card, right? So I was on this side doing a donner to the misfire, right? I mean to the side B. I'm going to donner and then I'm gonna hit it on the way up. But he got a misfire. He hit on the leg, and he sent me this way. Then I got the worst DI possible because why would I even be sent that way in the first place? I didn't die, but I got just he put me like an edge core scenario, and I lost that game. And I mean I'm really good friend with Eddie, right? When as soon as I lost this game, I went to look at him and I stared at him for like a minute, and he tried to not look at me. Then he started laughing like sorry. He goes sorry. Yeah, you're not sorry. But yeah, I lost that set 3-2, and then was sent to loser final. Mets was upset in the bracket by Chango, the Puff player. He's from Mexico, but he lives in wait, it's from he's in Washington at the time.
Hmm.
And yeah, he upset him. That's why he was in losers, and he destroyed me. Mets, I have beaten before, but it requires me playing at my best, and that doesn't happen too often. So yeah, it was a 3-1. Not really close.
Well, I don't. How about this? Do you ever feel that you play your best after losing to Eddie Mexico? Because you're always frustrated at the amount of misfires. Like, can you ever play your best after losing a set to Eddie?
I mean, I can at least say I play well. I played maybe a little couple of things, maybe not that many misfires, and I could have taken. But I mean, yeah, I see what you're trying to say, and yeah, it's hard to say.
So
So
then,
yeah,
so Meds actually had a really good bracket for the main bracket. He ended up placing second and forcing Wizaro to really push against Meds because Meds won a set in grand finals over Wizaro, which I thought was very impressive.
actually, I think Mets. That's the first time Mets beat S2J. I can even dare to say that's the first time Mets take a game of S2J in tournament. I don't think that was his best play ever so far. I don't think he's ever played that good in any other tournament at all. And that also might be true for Eddie. On the main bracket, he 3-0 lucky. He 3-1 Chape. Like I thought Chape was going to destroy him because he's insane against Luigi. And he also beat S2J. I think both Mets and Eddie were playing at their best performance so far, like in their whole career. And I was like, damn, it would be nice to play like that too. I didn't play bad. I was seat 9. I placed 9. Um, I beat Pantera and Bimbo. It sucked. Like the seating sucked. I had two of my region players back to back, and the winner's side. Like whatever. I won't even argue. Like I saw the bracket and I was like, I won't even go through the trouble of like arguing for the seating. Like whatever. It sucks. So I beat them back to back 3-0 each. Though I was happy it was a 3-0 because it was like, okay, maybe I did good in that way. But overall placing was like what was to be expected. So I was like, I was okay with that. It was an acceptable performance in the way I saw it, right?
So then, with Smash World Tour being a thing again this year, are you looking forward to that as being your next as your next like big tournament performance, or are you trying to get to a West Coast event? Like, I mean, this is in California, so I don't know where exactly that all is geography wise to you, but because you were talking a lot about Arizona tournament events, but there's a main stage that's happening in
I'm going
November, I
to
think
that.
it is. Oh, you're planning on going to main stage.
Yes, so far what it's planned, it's I think they have a tournament in Mexico City in October. I might go to that one. Uh, I don't think they have announced it yet, but they're doing saving Mr. Lombardi in I think it's Urban. I'm not sure where, but it's in SoCal, right? I'm going to that one in November. I'm going to main stage in December. Smash World Tour. I don't think I'm going to the Last Chance qualifier. It's in Texas, which it isn't too far, but it's at least it's real close to both main stage and the Panda Cup Last Chance qualifier. And that one is in LA, so that's acceptable. So I'm trying to go to that one too. And that's pretty much all that I have planned for like the rest of the year.
Got it, got it. So you're trying to, but you're still trying to intensive. Okay, so after Smash Factor 9 is over, the bracket's over, everybody's starting to wrap up. Are you trying to do stuff afterwards? I'm not just talking about playing friendlies. I'm also talking like hanging out, going out to eat, that kind of stuff. How do you finish a tournament at a tournament in Mexico? Because I don't know, I've never been to a Mexican tournament or
Uh,
to Mexico in general. So how do y'all hang out afterwards?
Usually, like we all go for dinner, right? We went for something near there, and there was a after party plan, but we took so long to get off the venue and getting back to the Airbnb we were staying, and I was so tired. Like I had such a hard time sleeping when anywhere but my bed. Right. That being
Mm.
said, it's a funny story. That being said, we were sharing beds. I was sharing my bed with Mets on the first night. Well, Mets is used to sleeping with with his wife, and at some point of the night, I was right like this, and then I feel like he was trying to hug me, and I fall asleep, and I was like, sure, and I still like that, I still like that for like 10 minutes. Then I had to go
What?
to pee. I was like, whatever, like
It's
I
like
don't
when a
mind.
cat. It's like when a cat sits on your keyboard and you go, "Well, I'll
Yeah,
just let the cat sit on my keyboard then."
exactly. I understood where he was coming from, right? He wasn't trying to hug me. That's the way he sleeps, and that's it, right? And I was like, yeah, sure. And it was the Mets hugging me, and I was like this, like, uh, and then I was like, I had to go pee. Like, all right, hey Mets, listen, oh, sorry. But I mean, I was down to let it rock, right? I was like, I mean, I see where you're coming from. We know each other for so long. I guess, like, sure, you do your thing. So, but I mean, that being said, I didn't sleep that good
Yeah,
any day
right.
of the
Exactly. You can't sleep
tournament.
when that's happening.
I mean, yeah, you get too nervous, you know. things were getting spicy, and like, am I not been so ready for this? I might be down, right? Okay. And
Ah.
so, so like the last day, I was so tired, and I and I wanted to go like see the city and all that, so I didn't go to the after party.
Mm.
But I mean, yeah, usually we go drinking, and usually it's heavy drinking. Like usually people get messed up and like they get like knocked out and stuff like that. I knew that S2J and Alex 19 went to the after party, but I mean, I was like, I'm not. I'm just going to be there and be all grumpy and wanting to sleep. I was like, I'll have to skip this year. We'll try next year. But yeah,
So
usually, yeah.
no, sorry. I was gonna say the normal thing is you normally get a good amount of sleep, but being forced to share a bed. I mean, I had to do that at Pound. I went to Pound with some people, friends of mine. Shout outs to Drew and Zach, but yeah, we're sharing beds and it's fine. It's fine. I'm used to sharing a bed with my wife, and we sleep separately because we like our space. So I say to Drew, I need space, so you need to be on that side of the bed and I need to be on my side of the bed. Let's not do any crossovers. He's like, no, you're good. I got it.
I
I
mean,
was lying down at the edge of the bed, as far away from Drew as I could lie down on the bed. I was doing that it was barely queen size. But we did it. It was fine. But I didn't sleep well either. So I relate to what you were saying there. Like, it's so hard to sleep when there's somebody else that is in your bed and you're going, not used to that.
yeah. I mean, the we had the same plan at first, right? We each had our own side. Like at some point, I was on the edge, and I was like, I mean, whatever. And then he did that. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm like, sure, sure. Why not? Why not? I'm fine with it. Well, not really fine, but you know, it's fine. It's
Yes.
fine enough. So
So
yeah.
then you were able to do this for other tournaments, though. You're able to, have dinner, celebrate, drink, do all that kind of stuff. I'm just curious because so I'm on East Coast, right? So I live in Lancaster, PA, and we don't have a local right at this very second, but in a couple of weeks we will at the local university. So we'll
Oh,
be playing
nice.
on school campus. Not a whole lot of opportunities to get super wild on a school campus,
Oh, yeah.
because this is the kind that's like they're not super friendly towards wild behavior. But all that to say that we'll be pretty chill and maybe go to a bar afterwards, and that's gonna be our experience. But like East Coast, my overall experience is mostly just like we're down to business. We walk quickly on the streets when we're going from point A to point B. We're not really the taking our time type. East Coasters are just very much in a hurry. I don't know if that's been your experience meeting players from the East Coast, but that's always been how I felt like the Melee experience is, even for me. Like, we got done at a big monthly last month, me and a carpool of guys who went down, of gamers going down to a Baltimore monthly. And after the tournament was over, they're playing doubles. And I say to the people in my carpool, I say, I want to go home. It's time to go home. And they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, we get it. Like, nobody objects. Nobody's saying, oh, no, we got to stay and play more. They're like, you know what? We played enough Melee today. And then we go. So I'm curious about like what the difference is down there, because it sounds like there's plenty of opportunity to slow things down a little bit, be behind schedule a little bit, maybe stereotypically behind schedule. But
Yeah.
how do you
Yeah.
how do you like to enjoy the tournament experience?
Well, personally, I just try to play as much as possible, like overall through the tournament. But I'm the kind of guy who takes breaks. I play for like like half an hour, take an hour long break, so I don't get like too burned out for bracket, right? But I mean that what you say about like it all depends. What do you say about people like usually being on a hurry the whole time? For example, where I live, it's not that much of a deal. But for example, in Tijuana, where Eddie and Bimbo is, people are in a rush all the time. Funny enough, it doesn't reflect in both of those persons' personalities, right? So there's a little bit of everything, I would say. Overall, in Mexico, people are more chill. It's I always felt like everyone has time to just sit down, play, and talk and chill and stuff like that. I can maybe not East Coast or West Coast, but I think like American players overall, I always feel like they play to win, and their main intention of playing you is beating you, and that's it. So it might be true more now on the sleepy era or like the dog era, but now everyone just wanna play, be good, win, and go home. I think overall that's how I feel about pretty much everyone in competitive melee in USA. There not too many people are down to play and be like back in the day I would be get like, oh, so where you from and what's your tag and how do you come here, and people just want to sit down play and GGs and go home. I'm like, well, I mean, like it's a little bit of like a cultural shock, right? At least I just think it is, and that's that, because in Mexico it's so common, like you just sit and play and chill, like where you from and who's the top player there and how many, you just talk, right? You just make some small talk while playing.
So then, how about the length of time that you've been playing the game now? You've been going to tournaments since 2014, and, or sorry, I mean to say tournaments that are the going to the US type tournaments. You've been going to
Yeah,
tournaments since 2011, excuse me. But you get what I'm
yeah,
saying. You've been doing this long enough now, and you've gone through a pandemic, and you play on unranked probably, which, good for you. I do not
yeah,
personally enjoy playing on unranked. I don't usually do it. So you go through all of these stages of melee, and you're continuing to play, but I'm curious about how you feel the long term is, and you get to a point where you start to say, well, what else can I do with my free time other than grind the game, other than doing stuff around melee? Like I'm very much deep in the sauce with podcasting about Melee, and I try to play it when I can. I realize that talking about Melee stops me from playing it, but that's okay. I like doing this too. I'm deep in the sauce right now, but everybody goes through those phases where you're deep in the sauce and then you say, I think I'm going to take a step back or exit the community entirely, going through those stages. And I'm just curious about how many times you've said to yourself through these years, I think I want to be done, but then it just pulls you back in, or you want to take a bit of a break and that's fine. You know you're going to come back. How do you feel the long term relationship is with
yeah.
Melee?
That's a good question. Personally, I also compete in another game. It's called Teamfight Tactics. It's a Riot game. It's like a spin-off of League of Legends. It's a tactical game. I I always like RNG on card games like to whole life. I played Yu-Gi-Oh, I played Hearthstone, I played Legends of Runeterra, and this game, I don't know, it clicked as in like I love what this game does, so I start competing and getting good at it. So they had seasons where like you can try and qualify for worlds. In my case, I play from the Latin America, North Latin America region. So when the season shows up, I go like, all right, I'll take a break from melee. I kind of stop playing like altogether. So whenever I'm done with the TFT season, I'm like, well, I have nothing to do with this game until the season comes back. So that's when I get back on melee. But I mean, I've been thinking like I think it's at some point when I was playing, I was grinding. I guess my first goal was getting good enough so people would help me to travel. Right, that was the goal. Like back in the day in 2014, something like that. That was the dream. It got kind of true in a way, right? Because I did end up traveling to some parts with help of like the TOs and such. But then the next, all right, this is cool. But then what's next? And then it recently happened, like the talk about like the prize winnings. I like to think about that I would like to put the example with SFAT. I think SFAT, it's been like a top 10 player since forever. Being a top 10 player is hard. It's so hard. It's insanely hard. And I'm pretty sure besides the CLG sponsorship, like, you cannot make a living from placing top 10 every tournament, not even top 8. Even I think you can even go as far as imagine you play four in every single major so far. Like you don't even make green numbers, right? It's you
Yeah.
can. So I was thinking, you know what? It's because I'm 28 years old. Like maybe it's not. it's not the way, right? So I'm thinking, I was the time passed, and I was thinking of realistic goals to be like, all right, I want to keep playing, but I would like at least to get to this point, and then I can say if I stop, I'm happy with this. And my goal was to be at least at some point the number one player in Mexico. And I don't. The rankings here are so sketchy. Like there has never been a good ranking in Mexico because there's so much bias towards some players, and there's so few tournaments in Mexico to like everyone can attend. So it's hard to leverage, right?
Yeah,
But
Mexico's huge. It's a bigger country than
it
most people give it credit for.
it is, and it's pretty much north and south. Like there's no point in between. And I was like, well, it's gonna be hard to taught the people to make a ranking and me be number one. So I will not settle with that. But I ended up hitting that point in Smash World Tour. It's hard to say because I didn't face Eddie at that tournament, and well, I mean Eddie, I think right now he's the best player in Mexico. But at the time we were like a little bit closer between us, and I was like, Smash World Tour happened, I qualified, and it was kind of like a general agreement that maybe I was the best player in Mexico, and I made the Smash World Tour like saying I made worlds in Melee. I made two
Yeah.
worlds, and like you know what? I think if I retire, I'm good. I'm happy with it, with the journey, with what we had accomplished. And sometimes I kind of since then I've been kind of like toying with the idea of like call it a day melee wise. I mean the game keeps dragging me back. Uh, my intention for now it's the rest of the year, all the tournaments I have, making like a serious attempt of doing a good run and stuff like that. After that, we're gonna like put things on the table and be like, all right, maybe it's time to stop. I don't know, because I don't know, everything's way more expensive. It's not cheaper than it was before, so majors are way more expensive than they were back in the day. Like traveling is more expensive, like hotels and like all the expenses are more expensive, and like oh, it's hard to keep up. It's really hard to keep up, and like in a way, it's also hard to keep up with the people who get a chance to go to all of these tournaments and get all that practice. And like the game is getting way harder. It's way hard to keep up. I mean, when people mock some players that they cannot break top 15. I mean, they had stayed there for years. That's insane. It's insane how they can keep up with all of that because now it's harder than ever. So it's like I'm thinking even keeping up, it's so hard. So it might be time to call it a day. So, but we'll still see, right? I say that, and I come back. So I mean, nothing's for sure. I cannot assure you anything, but that's kind of what's been in the back of my head from a while ago.
Yes, because there is a certain place that you get to and you realize I'm really good at this game. A long time ago, I wanted to be better and I wanted to be someone that people said good melee player. I think that's what a lot of us end up saying to themselves ourselves. We're not trying to be the number one player in the world, maybe the number one player in our region, and we'll go from there. Maybe after that it'll be the best player in the state or the best player in the country or the best player in the world. But most people cannot be the best player of the world. That's very mathematically true. So why do the rest of us keep playing it? SFAT, why does SFAT keep playing even though he's never won a major? And yes, perennially top 10, and yet top 10 gets you very very little money back in the wallet. It basically just you're still red. So why keep doing it? And the answer is, to anyone who's listening this far and doesn't quite understand, is because melee is that special of a game. And I would also say it does depend on where you are. I'm not saying every region is perfect, but there are places like New York City, for example, where the scene is very welcoming and embraces having a good time yelling and screaming at melee as it happens. Or out on the SoCal space where you can play top players like S2J and Fiction at a local. Or if you have areas like where I am, where yes, none of us are top 100 level as of right now, but we're all super happy to see each other. We hang out before and after the bracket happens, and everyone's friends. And it's not just that the game is fun, it's also that we like being around each other. We're all friends. So that's why the game is very special. That's why you get drugged back in, even though you're saying, well, maybe I should stop playing. I could do other things with my life. And then you just go, but Melee's still so good.
It
And
is.
that's what brings you back in.
Yeah, I think it's such an amazing point. Like, I that being said, I don't regret anything. Melee has taken me to a lot of places. It has made me go out of my comfort zone so many times. It has molded me in the person I am today. It has made me meet like most of my best friends like long time like lifelong time at this point. So it's like it's been amazing, all of it. The competition, the grinding, the friendships, like the traveling, all of that has been amazing. And I don't think it could have been this way with any other game, at least from my spot. So like I love Belly. It's yeah, I think it's like the main part of my life. Easily it is, right? So it's like, yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way. But I might still travel and other stuff, but maybe I'll stop like that. Try hard grinding and stuff like that at some point. But I mean, I don't regret anything at all, like at all. I love all of this so far, and yeah, hopefully the game never dies. At some point, I was thinking of switching to Brawl because I was like, maybe the game will die. Then Smash 4 came, and I was like, maybe now the game will die. And that's when I saw, no, there's just people that wants to play Melee, and that's it. And that's it. Like they don't want any. There's amazing games out there, like platform fighters. A lot of them are so good, but we want Melee. We want Melee. We want to complain about the same matchups all life, and but we want to do those matchups. Like not, yeah. We like and hate it, but we love it nonetheless. So yeah, it's weird. It's so weird.
It's awesome to hear that through all this time that you spent with the game that you look on all of it, even the parts where yeah, you didn't like finishing second here, or you didn't like all these suspiciously well-timed misfires from Eddie on yet another set that you lose against him, but that you're still coming at it with. Everything has been great up to this point with the game. So to get in the direction of closing up, I would love for you to tell the people where they can find you. And you are very much willing to accept possible offers to help you travel to tournaments. You are a free agent listed on your Twitter bio. So all that stuff, all the plugs and shout outs that you would like to give far, please do that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, social media wise, I sometimes on stream. I've been trying to play with that idea, but it's the same as Twitter. It's like twitch.tv/far_licious, the same as my Twitter. Um, not really a social media guy in that aspect, but I mean, sometimes I stream, sometimes I tweet stuff, like dumb stuff that happens in my day to day life. But sometimes it's a lot. But yeah.
Yes, you do not like traffic. That's what I gathered from your Twitter.
Uh, I don't like traffic. I also don't like missing flights. Yeah,
Oh,
that
yes.
that was a tough one, but hey, it happens, right? And well, I mean, I'm a free agent for now. And not maybe not even as a sponsorship per se, but I mean, if you're a local scene that someone would like to have me there in a tournament, like I'm all ears, you know, I'm all ears if you want me there, and we can work something out. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll keep traveling this melee journey and see what it takes. Maybe stop someday, but for now, at least for whatever's left of the year, we'll be around.
I'm looking forward to seeing you over at the, I guess, if Panda Cup Last Chance Qualifier is in LA, then I look forward to seeing you there, and also at main stage. Looking for you to make some upsets and once again turn heads. I think that the more we go through the social media world that's been established for, I mean, it's been around for a long time now, but the more we go through it and the more melee that we all get to see on streams and not just hearing about it. Oh, this is happening right now, which is actually okay. For the record, at SmashCon, Zane and B-Bats were playing each other, and the loser got 17th place, but B-Bats won the first game against Zane, but it's not on stream.
Oh
And
yeah.
so that's what I'm saying. Like, it still happens where something really cool. By the way, Zane did win the game. Zane won, but like, you hopefully get to see this more often in the future, where the sets where you wouldn't have ever been able to save them in the past, you get to see them either on stream or they're recorded because of Slippy, all that fun stuff. I'll get to see you playing on stream sometime in the near future as the rest of the year comes along far. It's been really fun to talk to you. I really appreciate all the time, and
You
thank
too.
you
Thank you.
so much for joining me on Bottom of the Smash Mountain.
Thanks for the invite. I had a really good time. You did a really good job interviewing it.
Oh, thank you.
It's been
Appreciate
one
that.
of the best one I had, honestly.
Ooh, where else have you been interviewed? Let me compare myself to other people.
It was Paps from La Gema. That was one interview. I think also we had like a triple interview between Eddie, and it was me, Jacob, and Chape on his stream. But I mean, I think it's not fair to compare you. You look like a top player in this, so it's not fair, right?
I'm looking forward to seeing the next time you get to play Chape on a tournament set as well. By the way, because I
uh,
know that Chape is really good against Sheik, but who doesn't love a run back?
yeah,
Anyway,
it was a really good set. I thought I was going to get destroyed because he's so good against Sheik. I was also thinking of playing Falco at least in certain stages, but I hadn't warmed him up at all. And he kind of like just put it right, like he run it back to stadium real quick. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'll stay Sheik.
well, you
But
were
it was
also really tired.
yeah, it was, but I mean, not Jones. I think I played good. I think I played good. Yeah, a little bit better than I could, and I had it. But yeah, that's how much better he's at the matchup. So it's like no surprise, honestly.